and welcome to In Depth. I'm Tina Jha. On the intervening night of 28th and 29th September 2016, Indian troops crossed the line of control to target terrorists in Pakistan-occupied territory. The operation lasted 4 hours, in which the Indian Army eliminated 38 terrorists and 2 Pakistani soldiers. Through this covert operation, India avenged the Uri attack that took place 11 days ago, in which the country lost 18 of its jawans. By changing its stand on the rules of engagement on the disputed line of control, India indicated to Pakistan as well as to the world that it is not a weak country. In Depth today looks at the surgical strikes that took place 2 years ago, the reasons for which India carried them out and how the world reacted to them. Well, 3-day mega celebrations have been planned to mark the 2nd anniversary of Indian Army's surgical strikes against terrorist hideouts across the line of control. Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated the 3-day Parakram Parv in Jodhpur to pay homage to the martyrs.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurating the Parakram Parv exhibition at the military station in Jodhpur. The event marks the 2nd anniversary of the Indian Army's surgical strikes across the line of control. After arriving at the military station, the Prime Minister signed a message paying homage to martyrs and took a round of the exhibition that showcases combat capabilities of the Indian Army. The Prime Minister also paid floral tributes to martyrs at the Konark War Memorial. He was accompanied by Defence Minister Nirmala Sitharaman and Rajasthan Chief Minister Vasundhara Raje. The Prime Minister and the Defence Minister also attended the combined Commanders Conference at the Jodhpur Air Force Station. The 3-day event that showcases the courage and sacrifice of the armed forces is being held at 53 locations in 51 cities across the country. The main event on the India Gate lawns in Delhi will have movies and photographs will be shown. There will also be digital signing walls for sending messages to soldiers. Letters addressed by school children are also on display, as also captured weapons used by terrorists brought from Jammu and Kashmir. The Army had carried out surgical strikes on the night of September 28-29 in 2016 on 7 terrorist launch pads across the line of control as a response to an attack on its base in Uri earlier that month. The Army's special forces inflicted significant casualties on terrorists waiting there to cross into Indian territory. The Uri attack was the deadliest attack on security forces in Kashmir in 2 decades. 17 Indian soldiers were gunned down by 4 heavily armed militants on the Indian Army Brigade headquarters. On the eve of the 2nd anniversary, the government released a fresh video clip of the surgical strikes. The clip that was made using overhead footage from UAVs and thermal imaging shows a terror launch pad being destroyed. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Defense and security experts say that Indian troops carried out the cross-line of control surgical strike in 2016 to send a strong message across to Pakistan that could not have been conveyed through any other means. It required a lot of planning. This report talks about the sequence of events that led to our troops carrying out the surgical strikes with utmost precision. On 18 September 2016, a group of terrorists launched a massive attack in Uri area of Baramulla district in Jammu and Kashmir. 18 Indian soldiers were killed in what was reported as the deadliest attacks on security forces in Jammu and Kashmir in 2 decades. India had proof that the attack was launched by Pakistani groups, including the Jaish-e-Mohammed. The Pakistani army supported their infiltration. Anguished by the loss of our jawans, Prime Minister Narendra Modi warned Pakistan that their sacrifice won't go in vain. 11 days later, Indian security forces conducted surgical strikes on terror launch pads across the line of control in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir on the intervening night of 28 and 29 September. The army inflicted significant casualties on the terrorists and their supporters. The surgical strike started around 12:30 a.m. on the intervening night of 28 and 29 September 2016 and went on for about 4 hours. However, planning such an attack wasn't easy for the army. The strikes were carried out in Bhimber, Hot Spring, Kel and Lipa sectors on the Pakistani side of the LOC. Indian commandos entered 3 kilometers across the line of control to carry out the surgical strikes. The commandos were airdropped at LOC, from where they crossed over to the other side. In all, the Indian Army destroyed 7 launch pads. The Indian Army killed 38 terrorists and 2 Pakistani soldiers without suffering any casualties.
Pakistan certainly needed to know that India will not take terrorist attacks lying down. And in the context of the information that was available to the government at that point of time, that the terrorists were gathering at the various launch pads, and they would have infiltrated and carried out a number of terrorist attacks in India. And not only that, little before that, we had had attacks in Gurdaspur, Pathankot, and then Uri. So some kind of a reaction was natural, and Pakistan had been habituated of thinking that India would exercise restraint always, because the nuclear factor would come into play and India would not react, etc. So this has been their assessment. So for the first time, the government came out in public to say that the Indian Armed Forces had carried out surgical strikes, and this was in response to the possibility of terrorist attacks against India, and it was based on credible information that the agencies had. And also I think there was an important aspect of signaling here in the context of India-Pakistan deterrence, because as I said, Pakistanis always have felt that with the nuclear deterrence in place, India does not have space for any subconventional operations.
In the words of Home Minister Rajnath Singh, India gave a strong message to the world through the surgical strikes. The Home Minister also said, following the surgical strikes, a sharp decline was reported in infiltration of militants from across the border. Surgical strikes do not mean war. These are military operations undertaken by forces to move on the offensive, hit enemy targets and installations, and return to primary positions, all with lightning speed and with the added precaution of suffering limited casualty. They require not just detailed planning, but need to be carried out with absolute precision to achieve the objective of taking down targets with either no or minimal collateral damage. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. The surgical strike was the first major shift by India from its stated position of not crossing the line of control. It was in fact a signal to Pakistan and its supporters the world over that India could cross the border to safeguard its interests from terrorists that were being harbored by Pakistan. And it was a huge message against the Pakistani tactics of letting terrorists from its soil crossing over to India via a negotiated working boundary, all with the connivance of the Pakistani army.
The surgical strike stunned the Pakistani establishment. Clearly, it had not imagined such a surprise action against terrorists on its soil after crossing the line of control. Pakistani soldiers were caught napping and the Indian security forces came back safely after the operation. For Pakistan, the message was that India will not be taken for granted. The surprise element of the attack was exactly part of the Indian strategy to teach Pakistan a lesson.
Long interface with terrorism, you will find that our response varies from time to time, because the nature of the terrorist threat is such that you cannot have a uniform response. You cannot be predictable. The key in your approach has to be the unpredictability factor. So, for instance, when our parliament was attacked, at that time we had decided on a military mobilization because it was part of a larger exercise of coercive diplomacy. After the Mumbai terrorist attack, At that time, the feeling was that this is an opportune moment to put diplomatic pressure and isolate Pakistan and make them take some action against the terrorist groups involved. After our troops were attacked, and that led to the surgical strike 2 years ago. Again, the idea was to respond effectively in a calibrated manner, but at the same time your response has to be different. So this time the step taken was of a targeted, calibrated, pinpointed surgical strike.
Pakistan's first reaction to the strike was denial. Islamabad tried to paint it as an incident of cross-border firing by India. Pakistan summoned the Indian High Commissioner posted in Islamabad. The denial indicated that Pakistan was unable to form a response to the obvious question that it was unable to defend its own territory. In a way, the surgical strike put Pakistani Army Chief Rahil Sharif under tremendous pressure within and outside the country. Failing to come across a proper response, then Pakistani Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif lambasted his own military establishment, adding to the disarray and discord within.
Pakistan relations. As you know, the first thing that the Pakistanis did, and till this day, they do not accept that a surgical strike has happened, because there is a myth that the Pakistani army and Pakistani government tells that to its own public that we are impregnable, we can take care of it. Indian army, no, because if they accept that the surgical strike has happened, then there will be a question: what is the response? And what was the response? Zero. So I think they did not accept that. So there is still a debate in Pakistan. Now the Pakistanis would always be uncomfortable that India could take some action and in future. So I think that uncertainty has come in their mind, and they would be watching carefully as to what India might do.
The surgical strike on the Pakistani side of the line of control was an emphatic message to Pakistan that its nuclear deterrent was not enough safeguard. Till now, the message that had gone across was that because Pakistan had nuclear weapons, India would not react beyond routine firing at the border and across the border. This was a chilling experience for the civil-military complex of India's western neighbour.
That point of time, yes. I mean, this was, you see, this is an assessment which the people on the ground have to make. They have a range of tools. Toolkit is quite wide. And which tool they use, that's something which is left to them, the local commanders, etc. And that is how they chose in their wisdom that surgical strike is the best option, and they did it. But in future, what they would do is again something that is left to them. As I said, there is a wide range of options that are available.
The surgical strike on Pakistan came just 10 days after Islamabad-backed terrorists attacked an Indian Army brigade in Uri. The surgical strike punctured Pakistani belligerence. The retaliation by the Indian Army forced it to remove its old havens of terror from near the LOC. The Indian action had an impact on Pakistan's political scenario as well. Pakistani army became more assertive and did everything possible to derail Nawaz Sharif's peace overtures to India. Pakistan's army and the judiciary ensured that Sharif was kept out of the elections. His daughter was sent to jail. 2 years later, the Pakistani military has a government of its own choice in Imran Khan's regime. India-Pakistan relations were also transformed to the extent that India refused to take part in the SAARC summit due to its objections to Pakistani sponsorship of terrorist activities. The new normal for India and Pakistan today is that talks and terror cannot go together. The Indian government resolved to expose Pakistan at every international forum as the mothership of terrorism. Akhilesh Suman's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
All military operations have definite objectives, political and service-centric. Operations within the country have definite law and order in support of civil authority. There are also demonstrations of the resolve of the state to impose its will gently or heavily. That was the underlying message from the surgical strikes conducted across the line of control 2 years ago.
2 years ago, on the intervening night of September 28 and 29, 2016, the Special Commandos of the Indian Army crossed the line of control to hit targets to the south of the Pir Panjal range in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. The next day, the army announced having had conducted a surgical strike in POK. The targets had been identified on the basis of Indian Army's knowledge about training camps and terror launch pads across the LOC. For decades, India and Pakistan's relations have followed a set pattern of diplomacy. After every major terror strike, India would blame Pakistan for the attack, scale down diplomatic relations, call Pakistan's High Commissioner to lodge a strong protest and raise the issue at the international fora. And after some time, a fresh round of engagement would begin. Pakistan had expected a similar response after the Uri attack. But the killing of 19 Indian soldiers, mostly in their sleep inside their camp, prepared the Modi government and the Indian Army for something bigger. The surgical strike that followed stunned Pakistan. Now the big question is, what has India achieved by conducting its surgical strike? The two strategic goals achieved by the surgical strike were the isolation of Pakistan and a morale boost to the soldiers deployed at the border. The Modi government owned the strike and was able to isolate Pakistan internationally. Countries like Bangladesh and Afghanistan openly backed India and got the SAARC summit that was to be held in Islamabad cancelled. The global community said that India had the right to act for its security. Pakistan was exposed globally yet again. Even a strong Pakistan ally, China, didn't back the country.
After our troops were attacked and that led to the surgical strike 2 years ago, again the idea was to respond effectively in a calibrated manner, but at the same time your response has to be different. So this time the step taken was of a targeted, calibrated, pinpointed surgical strike. So I would see our responses as part of a continuing challenge we have had in dealing with terrorism.
The era of talk diplomacy ended and there came a time for action. The same message was sent out to the world. By crossing the line of control, India showed to the world that it is prepared to walk the tough talk. Moreover, an embarrassed Pakistan was forced to deny that surgical strike ever took place and thus gave up the cause for escalation. It did ratchet up firing across the line of control for some time, but periodic intensification of firing has been a recurring feature now for the past couple of years. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
India's action against the Pakistani terrorist machinery resulted in its complete isolation in the international arena. Pakistan could get no ally who would condone its terrorist affiliations. 2 years down the line, Pakistan's so-called all-weather ally China also had to accept India's resolution at the BRICS summit on terror and terrorist groups being harbored in Pakistan.
The surgical strike changed India's image from that of a soft state to a determined nation. The US was on board before the strike, and Russia also came forward openly supporting India's action. The European Union, Germany, Britain, France also condemned Pakistan for terrorism and supported India's actions. China, the other Security Council member, advised Pakistan to have a dialogue but did not oppose surgical strikes at any forum.
Nobody has come and, to my knowledge, nobody has come and expressed any concern that this was a cross-border, cross-LOC strike, and if there were any issues there. I don't think any issues, because they very well understood that they know that terrorism is nurtured there, launch pads are there, infiltrations happen, and Europe, which is already suffering a lot of terrorism, Russia, which is also suffering a lot of terrorism, Now, all these people would be quite satisfied if a strong action is taken against terrorism.
SAARC members also took the incidents of terrorism by Pakistan very seriously and supported India's action. Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Bhutan and Afghanistan were open in their opposition to Pakistan, while Nepal also condemned terrorism emanating from its territory. It had its repercussions on the SAARC summit that was slated to take place in Islamabad. All SAARC members other than Maldives refused to take part in that summit, and since then no SAARC summit could take place, with Pakistan ending up being completely isolated.
I think the international reaction has largely been supportive, and I don't think one should see international reactions only in terms of one statement or one development, but one has to see it as part of a longer process. So the international reaction, including of Russia and many other countries, has been supportive, and you can see this coming out in various other ways. In international affairs, things take time to mature, but one outcome of this entire history of the past 3 or 4 years, for instance, is the action which is now being taken against Pakistan by the Financial Action Task Force, the FATF. So I think the international action will manifest itself in those ways. It won't be something which you will see notice immediately next day or a week later, but over a period of time it cumulatively amounts to a great deal of pressure being put on Pakistan.
India also kept up its pressure against Pakistan and terrorism. It convinced all SAARC members that the conglomeration would be unsuccessful with Pakistan practicing the tactics of terror. Every SAARC member agreed to stay out of the summit in Pakistan. Pakistan's isolation in the neighborhood was complete.
This action of the government has had no adverse impact on any of our relationships in the neighborhood. In fact, Bangladesh had undergone a very big attack in Holy Bakery attack some years ago, and the cooperation between India and its neighbors on terrorism today is very good. So they would also, I think, welcome any robust steps which India takes. International community would always welcome any action against terrorism, because today there is no appetite in the international community to accept that terrorism is justified. And you would have seen a whole lot of joint statements that India has signed with large number of countries across the world, in which this terrorism and that there is no justification for terrorism, that intention comes out very clearly. And the international community would be quite happy if India can take some actions and against the terrorists. So I suppose they would welcome such actions here.
Instead of SAARC, India chose BIMSTEC. Pakistan found itself further isolated when the neighbors wanted to revive BIMSTEC, the grouping of India, Bangladesh, Bhutan, Sri Lanka, Myanmar, Nepal and Thailand. The first step was taken in 2016 when India invited all BIMSTEC nations on the sidelines of BRICS summit that took place in Goa on 15th and 16th October 2016. After 2 years, BIMSTEC organized a summit in Kathmandu, snubbing Pakistan again. Ever since India launched its surgical strike, there has been consistent pressure on Pakistan. After Imran Khan became the Prime Minister of Pakistan, Prime Minister Narendra Modi did greet him, but once it was realized that there has been no change in the situation as far as Pakistan's mindset was concerned, India cancelled the bilateral foreign ministers' talks. Pakistan hoped it would get the chance to put its agenda through at the SAARC foreign ministers' meeting, but Sushma Swaraj snubbed Shah Mahmood Qureshi, who was planning to raise the Kashmir bogey to defend terrorism. The surgical strike was also accompanied by the US hardening its stance against Pakistan. But that has meant China could exploit the isolation of Pakistan for its own strategic and economic ends, thus causing a loss of sovereignty for Pakistan in the coming days. Akhilesh Suman's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
And that's it from us in today's edition of In Depth. We'll be back same time on Monday with a focus on some other important issue. You can also watch our episodes online on YouTube and Twitter and get back to us with your feedback and suggestions. Thanks for your time.